Well, hey everybody, happy Thursday, I guess it is. Hey, I know there's a lot of companies out there that are freaking out right now, especially in the solar industry, and it's like this doom and gloom thing that the sky is falling. And look, I mean, I've been in this industry now for 15 years. I've seen the waves, right? It seems like everybody, every couple of years, there's some new thing to freak out about. And don't worry about it. You're going to be okay, all right? As somebody that works with a lot of contractors, here's the 5 things that I see great contractors doing right now. That in their meetings, they're not worried. They're not freaking out. They're not, doom and gloom. They're not all looking for new jobs. And here's the 5 things that they're doing, and I want to share with you today. Number 1 is companies that focus on reputation, all right? If you look back at my LinkedIn feed for the last maybe a couple weeks, you'll see companies that have hundreds or close to 1,000 5-star reviews on their Google page. Listen, if you got 900 5-star reviews, you're going to be okay. Like, the rest of the competition is not really your competition. You have such bankability with your customers that you could sell anything and you're probably going to be all right. You also have a huge backlog of happy customers that are happy with your product that you can go back to and market onto. The problem is most companies don't focus on the customer experience at all, and therefore don't have a lot of happy customers. And if you don't have that, you need to start focusing on customer experience heavily right now. You should have been doing it all along, but you didn't, and now you have to do it, all right? So be real with yourself. And a lot of times I'll ask owners of companies, hey, why don't you have more 5-star reviews? And the answer usually goes something like, well, unfortunately, we had a bad ops person or a bad salesperson, or we dropped the ball, or whatever. Like, it's excuses, and we don't have a lot of happy customers, but we fixed it going forward. Awesome. I'm glad you fixed it going forward. You got to get the world to do a better job of telling that story, okay? And reputation is going to become a huge playing point as the market evolves, right? If you're a solar company, and I have, if I'm a customer, I'm looking at 2 different solar companies, and one has 10 reviews, and one has 900 reviews. Which one am I going to go with? Pricing, whether it's 20 grand or 22 grand, it's still 20-something thousand dollars. And I'm going to go with a company that has way more reviews, way more bankability than trying to save a couple bucks on somebody that doesn't have a lot of reviews. So one of the things you could do right now is just focus on exceptional customer experience. Whether that's in your sales process, your ops process, all of it. Start getting 5-star reviews. And contrary to popular belief, you don't have to wait until a job is built. You can actually do this up front. So a lot of salespeople, when they make a no sale, they're like, man, this customer loved me. They absolutely loved me. But they didn't like something else, or they failed credit, or whatever it may be. Get something on that job. Get a 5-star review. Hey, Steve, I'm so sorry that we couldn't help you out today. We'll keep trying our best to see if new options come up. One of the things that would mean a lot to me is if you let the world know that we did a good job for you today. Although we couldn't help you, hopefully you appreciate how honest I was and the experience that we had together. And if you could leave us a review, we'd really appreciate it. You'd be shocked at how many 5-star reviews you can rack up pretty dang quickly just by doing good in your community and just being a good person. You don't mean you have to go sell 900 jobs, but just start getting it going. And it has to be a priority for you going forward. So reputation is a big one. Number 2 is companies that invest in their people. Now, a lot of times we'll wait until the house is on fire before we learn how to use the fire extinguisher. And that's not the right way to do it. Get in front of it now. Start investing in your people. Invest in training. Invest in tools that they need. When they say the leads suck, take it to heart. Like, try and figure out how to make the lead quality better. Try and figure out how to make their lives better. Try and figure out how to get them some wins and get them fired up again. And a lot of times, there's free ways that you can do this. So one of the things I used to do all the time with our teams is when we had multiple sales managers, sometimes just switching up sales managers for meetings would work. So in other words, instead of Johnny doing the meeting today, and for his team, we'd bring in, Barry, and Barry would do Johnny's meeting. And sometimes just that little bit of like, hey, we have a special guest coming today that's going to help train us today on how to handle this objection. Sometimes that extra little bit of attention just gives your team awareness that you care about them and you're investing in their success. It's funny, like sometimes I have 4 kids and sometimes I'll say something to the kids and they'll just ignore it. And my wife will say the exact same thing and they run off and they do it instantly. And it just sometimes they get numb to my voice or they get numb to my wife's voice. Your people get numb to your voice as well. And so bring in some variety. Have somebody from a different department come in and talk. Have an outsider from the company come in and do a training with you. Again, if you look back, a lot of companies, I've worked with over the last couple of weeks to come in and do some additional training with them. It just gets you some spark. You're like, wow, somebody's coming in and this is a special reason. I really appreciate that my boss set this up and is making an investment in me and getting me fired up about my job again, right? So get that break out of there, invest in your folks. Number 3 is stable leadership. Now, stable leadership happens in a couple different places. Number 1 is that you have to have somebody that's been at the job long enough. If you are constantly turning over your leadership team, like your sales managers, it is really tough to inspire your team that everything's okay. It's like, hey, everything's okay, but you've had 4 new managers in the last year, or we keep burning people out and turning people over. You have to be able to invest in stability to some extent and say, look, John's been here 10 years. He's okay. Like, the company's going to be all right, And by the way, when you have good reputation, which means you have happy customers, and you invest in your people, having stable leadership comes with that turf. They're like, hey, I'm being invested in. We have happy customers. People don't hate the work that we're doing. I feel good about coming to work every day and representing this company. And it's really easy to have stable leadership when you do those kind of things. Stable leadership also is an emotional, term. And if you're a leader that's constantly freaking out along with your people, that's not the kind of stable leadership that your company needs. All right. So like I said at the very beginning, I've been in solar now for 15 years and I've lived through the highs and lows. And there's a lot of people that have done that with me. It's okay. Like, don't trip out. Let's have our good foundations. Let's invest in our folks and let's be confident, stable people. Doesn't mean you can't worry. Doesn't mean that you can't, be nervous at times. Go home and tell your dog about it, okay? Don't get on your sales meeting and tell everybody that they should be freaking out with you because it's a distraction. There are so many things in the last 15 years that we could have all worried about. We could have all freaked out about that. I saw so many people just stop focusing on selling and stop focusing on growing because they were so worried about something happening at some point that never ended up happening. And that's the funny thing. Most of the things we worry about never actually play out and happen, or they happen and the impact is very minor. Don't worry about it, okay? Instead, think about how you can make your way through it and be a stable leader that your team needs at a time like this. Number 4 is diversification. One of the great things about diversification is that you get to say something like, and I'm telling you this from experience, solar could go under tomorrow and we'd still be a phenomenal roofing company or a phenomenal HVAC company or a phenomenal fencing company or a phenomenal battery services company. Or guess what? There's still millions of homes that need work on solar and we're still going to be here. We're not riding and dying with every single customer that we have because we're diversified. Now, there's lots of ways to diversify. You could be a roofing. These are all products that I've dealt with. Roofing, energy storage, EV chargers, fences, and HVAC, right? There's just a couple off the top of my head that you could be selling and offering to your customers today, and you're not going to ride and die with one product in one industry and one set of regulations for your state. And so many times I see companies that are worried and really upset about things. It's because they're not diversified. So if you don't know where to begin today, I'd recommend you pick roofing. Roofing's a great business. You're already on the roof. You're already talking about it with your homeowners. You're already looking at the roof and looking at it as part of the project. Your customer needs a roof to put a solar system on their house. And it's remarkable to me how very few people actually invest in their people learning how to diversify to sell roofing. It's crazy. So I'll throw it out here. If you need help with that, hit me up. Hit me up with a DM. That's one of the things we do here is we'll teach you how to sell roofing and actually build a real roofing program for you so that you can sleep easy at night. Okay? But diversification is a big, big one. Last one, using uncertainty to your advantage. Now, as salespeople, we're emotional, right? Like when we make a sale, it's all about us and all the great things that we did. When we make a no sale, it's about how crappy the leads were or this customer was broke or whatever, right? Like there's all kinds of things that go along with it. But it's amazing how we use uncertainty the wrong way. We use it in a negative context usually, which is like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And we start going down this negative rabbit hole in our head about uncertainty. When in reality, uncertainty is a great catalyst for urgency if you do it right. So use that uncertainty to create urgency with your customers within your client base. And I'll give you an example that's pretty pressing today, which is tariffs. Nobody knows what's going to happen with tariffs. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. Like literally, it's a day-to-day thing that's happening. However, if you had to put me on the betting side of if I think solar equipment and imports from other countries is going to get cheaper or more expensive than it was 6 months ago, I'd probably say it's going to get more expensive. It already has. If you asked me about tax credits, do I think tax credits are going to go up or go down? I'd probably say they're going to go down. In fact, they're already slated to go down. And instead of using that as an urgency driver with your customers to say, hey, look, now's a great opportunity. We have these things here to help you that may not be here. And so now's a great time to take advantage of them. A lot of companies are freaking out about it. And as I look back through my career at all the uncertain times that were there, those ended up being some of the biggest booms for our business, whether it was rebates going away or net metering changes or tariffs or domestic content things that were going on, interest rates changing, underwriting requirements changing, states coming and going in and offline, utilities raising and lowering rates. Those are all drivers that we used to grow exponentially. And that was the big difference, was that we looked at this uncertainty as opportunity, where a lot of our competition looked at it as a reason to not do anything, and it paralyzed them, and ultimately those companies went out of business. And again, as I look back, there were so many times that we crushed it, and people I knew in the industry were freaking out and not doing anything about it, and ultimately they didn't make it. And right now is one of those times. Use that uncertainty to fuel yourself and fuel your customers and fuel those conversations, as opposed to putting you into a hole and covering yourself up and saying it doesn't exist and it's not real. All right. You do those things, you're going to be okay. So again, reputation. Get your reputation aligned now. It needs to be something you focus on every day. You no longer can have a customer that gives you a 1-star review and you're like, well, I get it. It is what it is. You have to take those things seriously. And by the way, the best people want to work for that guy. That's like, why did we get a 1-star review? What happened? And break it down. Okay. Reputation's important. Invest in your people. Be that stable leader that everybody's looking for right now. Diversify yourself. If you're losing sleep at night because you're worried about your one product in your one market that has one, governing body that's going to control your destiny, diversify. You can't complain about it forever. You actually have to do something about it. So diversify out of that one product and get something else in. And then finally, use uncertainty to your advantage. Don't be the one that freaks out about it. Use it as a way to capitalize and make your company great with what you're doing. All right. If you disagree with any of those, if you think I'm nuts, if you want to banter about sales content, I love talking to sales folks out there. Like talking sales, what gets me out of bed every day. Hit me up. Let me know. Drop a comment below. I'd love to banter with you. And I hope you're all out there crushing it. Not losing your minds. It's okay. You're going to be all right. Just put your mindset in the right spot. You're going to be in a good place. Until next time, happy selling, everybody.